Today is September 10th. It is Suicide Awareness Day. September 9th through the 15th is Suicide Prevention Week. It has been 544 days since I watched my best friend commit suicide. There are not a certain type of people that just do something like that. Some people show no signs of depression. Some aren't too eyeless, or wear glasses, or suck at sports. To be honest, YARI was none of those things. She was smart, independent, selfless, caring, and words could not explain how beautiful she was. But that was the problem. People were always judging that she had it all. As crazy as it sounds, that she was a popular girl and she was still bullied. You don't think kids weren't like, she's too perfect, so she's a bitch? The cheerleader with straight A's and the ideal body. What more could she want? There are a lot of people that didn't actually know YARI. She'd have been verbally, physically, and sexually abused since she was 4 years old. And she believed it could have been longer, but she'd been beaten so much she could not remember that far back. And maybe that's as far as she wanted to remember. But I did not know this until I was 7. I kept this a secret for 8 years because she told me if I told someone that people would come and take her and her brother and sister away and they would be separated. And I figured that since they were all she had, why would I take that from her? But this is not true. If you're being abused, talk to someone. There are social workers that will do everything they can to keep you with your family. So if there's not someone close to you that you know that you can advise, let your teacher or other adults at your school know immediately. I also struggled with this, but my best friend, more importantly, had a serious problem with body dysmorphic disorder. A lot of times, teenage girls are pressured to be skinny, and some will do whatever it takes to keep the weight off. Around 7th grade, a group of friends and I experimented with binge eating and forcing ourselves to throw up. This went on for years, but I learned the dangers of this. YARI was used to be considered that it girl, and she did everything she could to keep that image. Girls, though this wasn't what killed my best friend, hurting is an extremely serious and risky thing to do. If you or anyone is having issues with bulimia, please know or explain to them the dangers of this. Forcing yourself to throw up is very dangerous. It'll make you lose a lot of unwanted weight, but it tears the lining of your stomach and can fry your esophagus, damage your teeth from the acid, and eventually kill you from internal bleeding and dehydration. Lastly, YARI was abused at such a young age she built this outer shell to distance herself from others. Of course, she was popular, but no one would ever guess how sensitive she was. You could say jokingly that you're dumb, but at 17 years old, she'd go home and cry for hours. But that's why she was so smart. She always wanted to prove herself to those people that called her names. So, you need to understand that you never know what someone has been through when you call them names. Like, if they're ugly, they cannot help their genetics. Maybe they can't afford the nice things that you have. Or it's okay, that's their business. They already have to face the society as well as the world. What's wrong with being gay? It's a sin. So is premarital sex and lying, but I'm sure we do that all. Or a slut. Yeah, maybe some girls put themselves out there more than others, but maybe they just don't have parents and they want to be loved. And they seek different guys for comfort and they're afraid to settle down with one because they're scared he'll eventually leave. There are millions of people out there terrified of commitment just because one significant person has left them. Don't give up on the human race. Don't judge a book by its cover. And most importantly, don't believe you're alone. There are near 7 billion people alive. Someone knows what you are going through. And now I want to tell you my story. June 17th, 2008. My best friend had just got out of the hospital the same day after 4 days because she tore the lining of her stomach from purging too much. She told me that the doctor said she was pregnant, and I knew it was her father's baby. She had been fighting with her boyfriend, but had no idea how to tell him that her father did this to her. She was scared and terrified, and she knew what people would think of her at school. She was tired of crying and taking pain from so many people, and she didn't want to live anymore. She told me she wanted to kill herself, and I didn't believe her, and I should have believed her. And I was only 15 and just as scared, and maybe I did believe her, but I didn't want to. And that morning, she was dead. June 19th, 2008. And me. I've been through everything she went through. And January 14th, 2012, the day after another friend passed away, Devin Crane, I couldn't bear going to such a young person's funeral. He was a very close friend, and I figured if she found a way out, why can't I? I managed to make it 1,304 days, hating on myself more and more every day for not preventing her death because I could have told someone. And though I know it wasn't my fault, I kept blaming myself. I didn't want to live anymore either. I drank a whole bottle of Tylenol, then threw up 10 minutes later. I got really tired. I had never felt so sleepy in my life. I thought this was it, and I had finally found a way to escape my problems. I fell asleep and didn't wake up till 6 p.m. the next day, and I was angry at myself. And actually, I'm allergic to acetaminophen, so I threw up the toxins before it could poison my blood. But I did realize that suicide is not the answer, and it solves nothing. It just makes situations harder, and you don't get a chance to realize that there are people who care about you. Sometimes they may not demonstrate it, but they do. I thought I failed when in reality I succeeded. I beat depression, and you can too. If you or someone you know are in a crisis, please call 1-800-273-TALK, 1-800-273-8255, or visit www.suicidepreventionlifeline.org.